Welcome to Anaconda at the Mic, a weekly show highlighting interesting people and civic groups in Anaconda and southwest Montana. This week we are speaking with the one and only Jack Nicklaus, who will be in town to celebrate the 20th anniversary of Old Works Golf Course, a course he designed and opened for play in 1996. First of all, I want to welcome you back to Anaconda and let you know what an honor it is to be talking to one of the greatest players in professional golf history. We know you're all very busy with this upcoming week, so we appreciate you making time for us here today, sir.
My pleasure, buddy. No problem.
This week, we are celebrating the 20th anniversary of Old Works Golf Course. 20 years ago, you opened this course in little old Anaconda, Montana. What can you remember about that day and about your time here putting such a remarkable course together?
Well, I don't remember much about the opening, but I can tell you a little bit about what went on. I was contacted by ARCO, and they had a Superfund project in Anaconda that at the old Works project there, and it was just a situation that they didn't know what to do with it, and they called us in to see if we could help and if it made any sense to try several things. One was to obviously from a Superfund project they were required to clean up the site. Two, the economy in the Anaconda area was struggling tremendously. They thought maybe a golf course could certainly help it from a tourist standpoint, or from hotels, from restaurants, and also from a recreational standpoint, and provide some jobs. All those things were things that they were thinking of, and they said, can we do something here? I said, sure, you can do something here. And of course, the EPA was involved, and they made it relatively difficult, but that's okay. That's their job. They have to clean up a project properly so the contamination goes away and doesn't come back. And so we were required to build the greens as sort of a basket so that we didn't have any leakage out of where the greens were built. We had to clean up the water there. I think we had a lot of arsenic that was coming down the creek bed, and I think, as I understand it now, that creek is nice and clean with some nice trout in it.
You are correct, yes.
And I think it's, I don't know whether it's accomplished everything that ARCO wanted to do, but I think it's accomplished a lot of the things they wanted to do. I know that the golf course cost about half the amount that would have cost if they'd have cleaned it up and just did nothing with it. And it was also the first Superfund project in the United States where they actually did something and used the ground for something after they cleaned it up. So that's sort of a background on it, and we tried to use the natural things that were left there. There were some old
the mining tailings,
structures,
yes,
and
correct.
And then we used the slag tailings for a bunker sand, which we tested that. It tested well, and I thought that was rather unique, so we tried that. We tried to do a golf course that really wasn't particularly difficult. We didn't build deep bunkers. We kept them a little bit away from the green. We tried to build a fairly usable public facility without. But also using the natural features that were there.
Working with the natural surroundings into Old Works had to be a difficult task, especially when you were dealing with such a Superfund area. The black sand bunkers, and of course, they were a staple of the building, but did it prove difficult in keeping other intricacies of the land intact? Like we talked about with the flue and...
No, not really. We just kept them for background. They aren't in play. They're basically more visual than anything else. It just shows you what was there. I mean... I guess the place has been shut down since, 1902 or something like that?
It was the original, yes, it was the original.
So, it's been there for 90 years since, doing nothing. And so it was amazing that anything was still there.
I can actually tell you, it didn't not do anything. I kissed my first girl on that property, and I used to sight in my rifles on that property as well. So the golf course did provide a little bit. I mean, before the golf course, it did provide a little bit, but it wasn't as fantastic as it is now. I will say that. We are speaking with the one and only Jack Nicklaus, who will be in Anaconda this week celebrating the 20th anniversary of Old Works Golf Course. Jack, a mark of many, if not all, Nicklaus Designs courses is their playability for any level golfer. As a man who is such a remarkable ambassador of the game, is making a golf course enjoyable for all players of varying handicaps one of your top goals during these design stages?
Well, it depends on what you're trying to do. I mean, we're doing a public facility there, and I've only done actually 3 municipal golf courses, one in Breckenridge and one here in North Palm Beach. And of course, Old Works is the other one. I've done public golf courses and so forth, but not what you would call a municipal golf course. And you have to sort of figure out what's your clientele going to be, who's going to play the golf course, what level do you want to make it, and what do you want to do. I think Old Works shouldn't be a very difficult golf course, but it had enough spice on it that and visual attractiveness that the good player will want to come and play it too. And sort of that's I've talked to people all over the country that have gone to Old Works and come back and say, Jack, what a fantastic place, what an unusual golf course. He says, I really loved the black sand. I loved using the features that you had on the property. I mean, people like that kind of stuff, and I don't think it was not the intent of it was not to try to create a championship golf course. That was certainly not by any means.
Do you put a feather in your cap when people come up to you and discuss courses of yours, especially one like this that has to stick in the back of your memory, being that it was a super fun area? Is that a source of pride for you?
Sure it is. Of course it is. Every golf course that I do, that I hope turns out the way for what I was asked to do. In other words, my definition of a good golf course is a golf course that serves the purpose for the owner successfully. So if it does what it's supposed to do, then it's a good golf course. It doesn't have to be, it doesn't have to be a Pebble Beach, or it doesn't have to be the Augusta National. It just has to be a golf course that services the needs of Anaconda.
Yeah, that's fantastic. You have over 405 courses open for play, of which 294 you've designed in 41 different countries, and have played almost 900 championship events on a Nicklaus Designs course, ones that you have developed. Does it ever get old or cumbersome opening another venue?
Well, I enjoy it. It's been it's been a blessing for me. I mean, I played golf all my life, and then actually I really started designing golf courses when I was right sort of the middle of my career. I was only about 27 or 8 years old when I started, and it's sort of gave me a diversion and didn't allow me not to have to focus on just playing golf. It allowed me to use my head, allowed me to create things that'll be here long beyond my golf game and my lifetime. It's allowed me to stay in the game of golf, a game that I love, and provided a living for me. So it's back when I played, we didn't play golf to make a living. There wasn't enough money in it. You could maybe just the top 2 or 3 guys might make enough to make a little bit of money during the year. But my biggest year on the tour was $300,000. Just over that. And my son Gary finished second in Atlanta one year and won as much as I won. I won a little over $300,000. He won as much as I won on my best year. And so the guys today, 10th place in the tournament's $300,000. So what we did in those days is we had to go out and win golf tournaments to be able to make your name so you could go out and make a living, with endorsements and branding and other stuff. And that's what we did. So the ability to be able to use what I learned playing golf and learn what I did as a skill of designing golf courses allowed me to stay into the game of golf and continue to make a living. I'm still doing it today, and I still enjoy it. And we go back and look at the generation before us. I mean, I know I'm probably a little bit off, but I think Ben Hogan's lifetime earnings were less than $300,000. Lifetime earnings. I mean, and now my lifetime earnings, I've been on the PGA Tour probably, $5 or $6 million. And these guys, 5 of them every year blow past that. I'm proud that we were able to make it better for the guys today. That's fine.
And one thing that I think is remarkable is how you've developed into one of the most influential and world-renowned golf course designers since your competitive days were coming to an end. Has that filled the competitive void for you once your playing career was winding down?
Well, there's nothing that's going to replace walking up the 18th fairway at Augusta National and knocking a putt to win the Masters. But certainly going out and competing against a piece of ground and trying to what I call unlock it, meaning I try to find out what's out there and what can you do with it and how can you get the best utilization out of that ground to create a golf course. That to me is a lot of fun. I enjoy it. It's I think that a lot of guys go out and like to go to the cocktail parties and all the fanfare. I'm sort of the other way around. That part's okay because it's part of the deal, but I really enjoy the work on the golf course and work on the site. I still do as much on the sites today as I did 25 years ago.
What and where are your favorite course designs?
Well, I never answer that question. They're all my favorite courses. Do you have a favorite child?
I can't answer that. Of course I have a favorite child. I have a favorite thing in what they do. But you understand what I mean. I do.
They're all my children.
I'm trying to sidestep it too.
Sure, I understand.
Talking with Jack Nicklaus here, where would you rank Old Works on your personal list of accomplishments?
I think Old Works is. I think think it accomplished an awful lot from Montana's standpoint, and so it's the only golf course I've done in Montana. No. I've done. I just finished the course up at Moonlight Basin, so I've done that.
Correct.
It stands up there because it served the purpose for what it was intended, and I think it was a sort of a monumental mark in history as it relates to Superfund projects and utilization of land for that, and created an economic impact on an area. I think those are all very, very important things, and are very important to me.
I think it was a large step forward for the relationship between a lot of different entities, whether it be between ARCO, BP, our county government, or even the APA.
Yeah, it's all part of a package that I think has worked out fairly well. Maybe it hasn't gone totally, because I think the economy of the last 10 years has not been great. And I think the place has probably suffered a little bit. So, from my understanding, from going forward, they've got a very positive outlook towards it and what's going to happen. Unfortunately, I'm not involved in that part of it. I'm involved in the start of it, and then from then on, somebody else has got to do it. I just hope that I give them the tools to be able to do what they need to do.
And that's very well said. Although I've not had the pleasure, I've had friends who are familiar with Old Works. They've also played some of your Bears Best courses, one of which being in Las Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
2 holes in Las Vegas are from Old Works. There's number 2 and number 7.
Yeah, I couldn't remember what we did. When I go back to a Bears Best, those are my fun golf courses, because I don't really have to go design them. All I have to go select 18 holes to put them on the ground.
There you go. Of course, number 2 is a short par 4. I believe that's one of your favorite courses in all the designs. It's got the elevated landing into the fairway. It's a drivable par 4, but it's also one of those ones where you can lay up to a favorable shot. Of course, all of your tempting holes like that are covered with bunkers. Do you remember number 2 specifically?
I don't remember. I remember very little about the golf course specifically, hole for hole.
Okay.
I remember going up into the slag piles up along the flumes, and I remember a few things that we did there. But I'm going to come out there on I guess I'm going to come out Wednesday.
Yes.
And I'm going to go around the golf course, and I'll refresh my memory, and I'll be able to answer your question better Wednesday evening than I am right now.
Oh, that's perfect. As a player, you've reached heights that may never be obtained. 18 career majors, not to mention 19 second place, and 9 third-place finishes in majors. I surely don't have to read off your list of accomplishments to validate your greatness, but what do you think your greatest accomplishment has been, not just on a golf course design or as a player, but in life?
Well, I don't think there's any question, in my opinion. It's my 5 kids and my 22 grandkids. I mean, that to me has been the most important part of my life, and being able to all my kids that they all know me. That was my goal, was to make sure that my kids, when they left for college, they knew their dad. And I worked pretty hard at getting back home to make sure that happened as often as I could, which I did quite often. And watching their events and being part of what they do. And now I'm doing the same thing with my grandkids. I mean, that's what life's all about to me.
It's no secret that you are looked up upon by your peers and by generations that, like myself, never really got to see you play in your prime. But we all appreciate what Jack Nicklaus has brought to golfers. I'm a terrible golfer. I'm horrible. I mean, you couldn't even fix my swing. But
well, I'm getting there.
but it's just
I play so little.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to look back and with the videos and with all the history, and it's nice that you're able to give back not only to those people and players coming up, but also by giving them places like Old Works and like places in their own communities to play and appreciate and pass down to their young. So I thank you.
Well, Vic, I always have a statement. I said, people have always wanted to play like I have, and now as I've gotten older, they can.
There you go. You'd still whoop me. It wouldn't even be close.
That's what life's all about. You meet the same people on the way down that you met on the way up.
Yeah, you could beat me with a putter from the tee. That's no doubt about that.
We're not going to worry about that part.
No. When we come back, we will ask Jack a few more questions submitted by our readers on our KANA 580 AM Facebook page. That after this short timeout. You're listening to Anaconda at the Mic. Welcome back to Anaconda at the Mic, joined by the legendary Jack Nicklaus. Now we're going into our reader submissions, so I hope you're ready, Jack.
Oh, I'm ready.
Vicky Hall asks, what was your fondest memory from when you were here during the design stages of Old Works, whether it be dining at a restaurant or the people or anything like that?
Well, when I go someplace and do my work, the fun is my fun on the site. I enjoyed the complications or the interesting situations that you can get involved in, and spending time with that. Now, I did do a little bit of fishing while I was out there. I don't think I did any hunting while I was around that out there for the golf course. But it's I always take advantage of Montana when I can get there and do a little fishing. Matter of fact, on my way out this week, I'm going to stop off and do a little fishing before I get there. So, but it's a beautiful part of the United States, and you need to take advantage of it when you go there.
Penny Leary and Amanda Ferrer both wonder about repurposing golf courses in places where there is only a short window for playable rounds due to weather. Is there any discussions on your part that go into possibly using these types of courses in other ways in order to keep the revenue streams coming?
Well, that's not generally been my part. I can't help that Montana's up north. I grew up in Ohio. We didn't have a full year there either, but you even have a shorter summer than we had.
Sure.
And we have a lot of golf courses that use it for a lot of different things. I mean, people use a lot of cross-country skiing on sites like up north. They use the ponds that they freeze over. You got some skating. There's a whole variety of things that I'm sure you can do on the sites, but. The ground is there. It's a city facility. Go use it. Use it for a lot what you want to use it for.
Corey Peterson asks about the costs of the round in small communities like this. Are there studies done to help locals with discounted rates while also keeping it exclusive to golfers who like to travel to high-end properties such as Old Works or another one of your properties? Or is there a way to balance the two?
Well, as I recall, the rates at Old Works were, they were like, I don't know, when we first started, I don't know what they are now, but they were like $17 a round during the week and $25 on the weekend. We figured it would only take about 490 years for ARCO to get their money back.
Right.
So it's a matter of who's doing the golf course for what purpose to service the community. And in Anaconda's case, it was not a matter of. I know there was going to be an income stream, and they had to you have to create something to pay for what's going on. But for the most part, it was more or less something to give to the city to allow them to try to hopefully make a little bit of money back on the facility, and I hope that you're not far from I-90. With a little promotion and so forth, the people coming along, you have the opportunity to bring in some people from the outside to be able to create a little bit more income for your facility.
Dan Laughlin asks, how, being a loyal and faithful Ohio State Buckeye, could you allow your grandson to play at Florida State?
Well, his dad played at Georgia, and I was at Ohio State, so Nick didn't have anything to do with Ohio State or Georgia. He wanted to make his own name, and Florida State was where he wanted to go. He had other siblings that went to Florida State, and some other cousins that went to Florida State, and he when he got down to the end of it, it was LSU, Alabama, or Florida State, and he took Florida State. Now he's at Buffalo and in the NFL, and of course it's a hard deal to try to break in the NFL and doing different things. And he's the second tight end on the team up there right now, so he plays a little bit every game. He'll play a lot this week because he was a third tight end, and they elevated him to the second tight end this week. So that means he plays in all two tight end situations. And so he has to learn like anything else. I mean, you come out of college and all of a sudden you're not an NFL star. Some kids are, but Nick's a hard worker, and he loved Florida State. He loved doing all those things, and but he also loves. He just wants to play the game.
And I didn't realize he was in Buffalo. We have a local kid. He's from Butte. Colt Anderson actually is a safety and special teams guy on the Buffalo Bills. So local kid.
I'm sure he's a good friend of Nick's.
You're flying out to the Ryder Cup after you leave Anaconda here on Friday. You've been a captain of two Ryder Cup teams in 1983 and 1987. Being that the Ryder Cup is the big event coming up this week, what special advice would you give to Davis Love III?
But Davis has got things pretty well in hand. I'm sure he's going to do it the way he wanted to do it, the way he does it. I mean, everybody does it a little differently. When I captain, I always like to let the fellas have fun and pretty much ask them who they wanted to play with and let them sort of it's a goodwill event. Have them make up their things. To me, winning was not that important, but I think probably America's probably U.S. is probably getting a little tired of losing too. So I think you'll find a good American team, and I think they'll play very well. I think Davis will handle it very well, and I think you'll have I think we'll have some good matches. That I'm very optimistic about U.S. winning.
Well, do you think the national controversies surrounding the national anthem and where we are as far as the society goes with all of the demonstrations will play a part, being that it is America versus another country?
I certainly hope not.
I hope not as well. Jack, I will end the interview there, and I can't thank you enough for joining us here. We're a little radio station in Anaconda, Montana, and I can tell you your creation has made our town 100 times better than it was before you stepped in Deer Lodge County.
Well, thanks for those kind remarks, and enjoyed talking to you.
When we come back on Anaconda at the Mic, we will speak with Mark Savoy, General Manager and Director of Golf at Old Works Golf Course. That after this short timeout. You're listening to Anaconda at the Mic. Welcome back to Anaconda at the Mic, now joined by Mark Savoy. He is the General Manager and Director at Golf at Old Works Golf Course. Mark, thanks for joining us. It's probably a very busy week for you coming up.
Yes, it is, especially with the passing of Arnold Palmer yesterday. A lot of activity going on, yes.
Is anything going to change as far as that? As far as you know, we know, everybody knows the connection between Jack and Arnold.
All the communications that I've received from the Nicklaus end of things is that is on schedule. Jack and Arnold were very close, and this has hit Jack quite hard apparently, and but it's business as usual. We're pushing forward. So not sure the details of Arnold's funeral or anything like that at this point. I don't know that anybody knows that yet, but our event is still going on.
Of course, Arnold, along with Jack, have given golfers a lifetime of memories. So hopefully this week his passing was a blessing, and we'll just leave it at that. We'll get into some of the events going on this week here for the 20th anniversary celebration. 144 players, 36 teams, and It's going to be a fantastic celebration of the 20th anniversary here.
And the weather forecast is 75 and sunny. Yahoo,
exactly. We talked about a little bit windy out here this morning, but it's been those fall conditions around here. The wind subsides, and this is really the best golf that we get in Anaconda, Deer Lodge County after Labor Day.
I often tell golfers this, that your golf course in a seasonal type of situation grows all summer long. Typically in the fall, it's in the best shape it's in, and so this is often the best time at a lot of places to play.
Jack hasn't been here often since the course has been built. What do you think he'll think of the place?
It's been quite a while since he's been here. I think it's going to be kind of a reintroduction to him. He's designed hundreds of golf courses, and he's around the world looking at golf courses, and he's played for 50 years around the world. I imagine it's going to be a reintroduction and kind of I think it'll be a pleasant experience for him. I think he'll be looking at it and look at it and go, oh, wow, I did this.
Well, and I know he knows a lot. He remembers a lot about the Superfund aspect, and he's very proud of that fact. He doesn't remember, like you said, he doesn't remember specific holes. I brought up Bear's Best in Las Vegas that has 2 Old Works holes on it. He didn't know that. He thought Old Works was a great beacon for that.
Yeah.
But he is really looking forward to going around the grounds, looking, and like you said, getting reintroduced to what he built here. So I'm sure he'd be very proud.
Yes, I agree 100%.
Being your first year, improvements have you guys seen Old Works make since you've gotten here?
Well, we've made some improvements with some of the equipment that we have, which helps the process and helps the maintenance of the golf course. More specifically, like we're more able to verticut the greens, which helps with the actual overall health of the green and the product that we're able to put out there. Most recently, we've had the opportunity to get some new equipment for like the driving range and some of our bag stands and ball washers, things like that. Stuff that's 20 years old and is a little worn and dated, and gives us a nice fresh upgrade. We've also got new carts this summer. Our carts were year 5 this year, and really we're seeing a lot of wear and tear on them. And so a new fleet of carts in August helped us a lot with the overall experience that golfers get. We don't have any carts dying on the golf course and having to go pull them in, and the negative experience that happens with that.
You've had a tough year as far as the weather goes. It's been tough.
Yeah.
And we are short on that golf window that golf courses look at anyway.
Right.
Moving forward, of course, you have no control over the weather, but what are you guys trying to do or trying to implement that will enhance the golfer's experience here?
Well, we'll continue to look at our asset is the golf course, and we'll continue to look at the things that we can do to the golf course to improve the playability of the golf course. A couple of key pieces of equipment will help us with that. The golf course, the fairways are renowned, nice and plush, but they need some love and care, and those things will help them be healthier. They'll help us not have to apply as much water to the fairways, which will help conserve some of that. Instead of dumping water onto this place to keep it green, we'll be able to water less and still be green. Fairway aerification is kind of what I'm talking about there. The other end of it is from the operations side is always service, and providing the best possible service we can to everybody that comes here, because we see folks that come from all over the country and sometimes from out of the country. We saw some folks last weekend from Ireland, and so we're seeing them from not necessarily worldwide, but a lot of different countries, and certainly every state in the union, and that's kind of a unique thing and kind of a neat thing, because you're meeting people from all over the place all the time.
Rock stars too. Alice Cooper was here last week.
I didn't meet Alice Cooper. Brent Musburger was here last week, and so yeah, occasionally we see celebrities here.
Going into year 2, new superintendent as well as yourself, it's got to be easier looking forward now that you have a pretty good handle on the property. Is that correct?
Yeah, that certainly helps. It helps familiarity, especially on the superintendent's end of things. He has a lot of things to learn and a lot of nuances to this course, and that helps him a lot, getting his feet on the ground. And he kind of came in, jumped right in the springtime, and a lot of these things are new to him. He's been in the business for a while, but every course is different in that respect.
And learning the community as well. That also helps with bringing people in. Any more tournaments planned, or are you guys just status quo on that, trying to feel out as you go?
Well, for the rest of the season, we do have a couple of tournaments still on the books here. We got Oktoberfest on the 1st of October, which is this Saturday, and we've got an NFL tailgate scheduled for later on in October. So that's kind of a wrap-up for this year, and as far as going for next year, we're still in the planning stages of that. We like to do as many events as we can. I think the ones that we have, we want to do a better job with also, and advertise a little bit more and get the word out so people know when they're happening, and if they want to play, they can. And so some of that is going to be our internal operations and getting the word out a little better, probably.
This week has been led up to for months, maybe even a full year. You guys really want to do this correctly, and you have the right guy coming in to celebrate it. So a lot of things planned for this week.
Right. I started in January, and the conversations of having this event had already started. We had hoped to do it in the summertime when it was maybe a little bit more predictable weather-wise, but Jack's schedule kind of put us at the end of September. But we've been talking about this for 9.5, 10 months. So yeah, this is a lot of planning involved with this event.
Maybe it was better than that we didn't have it in the summer.
Very much so. You never know what was going to happen in the summertime. So
talk a little bit about what's going to happen here this week with all the festivities. I know the golf tournament is on Wednesday. Is there anything else planned especially for Jack? I mean, I know you guys are going to do a little bit of a golf course reintroduction, like you said, but
right. Yeah, it's mostly going to be on Wednesday with Jack. He'll be coming in Wednesday afternoon. We're not exactly sure what his travel plans are yet. I believe he's fishing somewhere else in the state and then flying in the afternoon. The event will probably be going on already when he arrives, so he's going to tour the course as the golfers are playing on the golf course. And hopefully he'll meet as many of those groups as he can and shake as many hands as he can. When the event concludes, we'll do like an awards and prizes, and then we'll kind of turn it over to Jack and do an evening with Jack, basically. And that'll start probably around 6:30, and we'll see how long it lasts, but how much Jack has to say, and we'll go from there.
And you have Mick Delaney.
Right. Mick will be our MC. And what we're going to try to do is have our golfers, as they register, if they choose to, maybe pose a question for Jack. And we won't be able to do all of the questions, but pick out some of the ones that might be the most interesting, and have Mick present those to Jack and see what he has to say. I'm not sure exactly how those questions will go, but we'll see how that plays out.
Everybody around here must be very anxious. I mean, the place looks fantastic right now. So you guys can tell everybody, all the employees, all the staff, you guys have been working really hard at this.
We have. As we get closer and closer, there's, more urgency, but it's kind of fun to do something different rather than just the same old. And so we're really looking forward to this week.
Well, all right. And that's where we'll wrap things up here today. Mark, congratulations on everything, on what is going to be a very successful week for Old Works and for Anaconda. I mean, when you bring somebody like this into Anaconda, especially somebody as golfers know is as important to the game as anyone.
Right. And
on a week that, some golfers are basically mourning the loss of one of their stars. We're going to welcome in another one, and hopefully this course puts a smile on his face and another feather in his cap.
Right. I'm sure it will. And Jack will leave here on Thursday and head to Minnesota for the Ryder Cup, and so we'll wrap up our week with our Nicklaus event and then the Ryder Cup this weekend. So it'll be a pretty good week for golf.
And golf continues here at Old Works. Go onto the website, oldworks.org, and find out a list of upcoming events. I know there's an Oktoberfest and a tailgate event that is still to come. So log onto the website or call the golf shop at 563-5989. Mark, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
And that'll do it for us here at Anaconda at the Mic. Again, every Friday at 10 a.m. We try to talk with interesting people and organizations around Anaconda and Southwest Montana. If you'd like to be part of the program, call me at the radio station at 406-563-7119. Again, thanks to Jack Nicklaus and Mark Savoy, and you're listening to Anaconda at the Mic.